Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about Kringle Candle's Easter collection for 2025. For those of you who were around last year with Kringle, you might remember their Easter collection. They really kind of stepped up their game last year. And looking back over the course of the year, I really feel like their Easter collection was probably one of their strongest, most cohesive, from the packaging to the scents to just people generally being happy with what they received. I feel like it was probably one of their best collections of the year. So I'm really happy to see that they have brought back a lot of what we had last year. We have a few new things, and we did have a couple that went away, but we're going to be kind of talking about all of that. I'll be showing you what's new this year. I have a couple of the candles that are returning from last year here. I think there's only one that I don't have out of the whole collection. So we have a lot to take a look at. So we'll be kind of breaking them down one by one. For those who don't know, I will preface this by saying I am a Kringle Candle ambassador. And I should say, most of this here today was gifted to me by Kringle for my review. I have a couple that I purchased last year, but at least 6 of these were sent to me as a gift. So thank you to Kringle for sending those over for me. And I'm going to do my best to get good information out to you guys. This is one of those rare instances where I've actually had these for almost a week at the time of filming, and I am pre-recording this. So by the time you guys see it, I will have had these for about 2 weeks. So I've already gotten to do a little bit of burning. And I do plan to kind of come back through and do more thorough reviews on each of these, especially the new ones, before the launch day. As of right now, the launch is set for Thursday, March 20th. If anything changes between now and then, I will certainly let you guys know. But as of right now, I've got a lot of time to work with. I've got a lot of burning already started. So we're looking good and on track to have these more thoroughly reviewed for you guys before the launch. But I did want to get on here quickly and give you kind of a little overview to help you. I know if you guys are like me, it takes me forever to decide what I want to buy from a candle launch. I kind of hem and haw over my choices. I weigh the chances that I'll like something, one thing versus another, and it takes me a while to make up my mind. So I figure the more information you guys have, the more time you have with it, the better. So again, I'm pre-recording this, but we're expected to see this collection launch on March 20th. So thank you guys for tuning in. I will try to keep this somewhat quick, but we do have a lot to get through. So let's get started. All right, guys, so what I think I'll do here is just show you everything I have really quickly, and then I'll go back and talk about each one a little bit more. We're going to have 6 Kringle jars and 3 three-wicks. So starting with the Kringle jars, these are 22 ounces, 100% soy wax, and I only have 5 of the 6 here, but we'll go through and I'll give you some information on the 6th one. But first we have carrot cake. Then there is chocolate eggs. Then another new one, Easter petals. Returning from last year, we have Easter brunch. And also lemon sugar marshmallow. Now, the one I don't have is Jellybean Jubilee. That was here last year as well and returning. As far as I know, based on the scent notes, it appears to be the same. And it's going to be in the pink glass, again, with an image of like very colorful jelly beans on the front. And for those interested, I will give you the notes. Personally, I'm just not a huge fan of fruity fragrances, and it's just something I don't think I would be reaching for very frequently. So I didn't pick it up last year. I don't intend to this year or, intend to review it at all. I just don't think it's for me. But for those who do like fruity scents, the top notes here are bright citrus, lemon, and tangerine. We have mid notes of juicy cherry, candied blueberries, and vanilla sugar, and base notes of fruity medley and licorice, which I know can make or break a fragrance for you guys. Licorice was, I think, the piece that people were either you love it or you hate it, and some, I think, picked up that licorice note. Others said they didn't really notice it as much, I think, from what I remember last year. But if you are interested in sort of jelly bean type fragrances, that will be available this year as well. So keep that in mind. But getting back to what we have today, for 3 wicks now, I have Berry Citrus Bloom, Bunnies and Flowers. So it's very cute all the way around, all the different color bunnies. And last but not least, Sweet as Can Be, which I guess this is kind of maybe where we'll start here. Sweet as Can Be, based on the notes, based on smelling it, is the same fragrance as Lemon Sugar Marshmallow. So for those who remember last year, instead of 3 wicks, we had these sort of, they were almost like a white milky glass 2-wick vessel that had printed on like Easter patterns all around them. And so last year we had the Lemon Sugar Marshmallow, and then we had one of those glasses was called Easter Chicks, which was the same as Lemon Sugar Marshmallow. So we kind of have an overlap again this year, it appears. And this is the only one that I haven't gotten around to burning at all yet, just because I kind of already know what to expect. The big test here for me, I guess, will be strength, because I felt like Lemon Sugar Marshmallow was one of my strongest candles last year. So for a 3-wick, I'm curious to see if it's going to just be amped up even more, if the notes might come across a little bit differently with that extra heat of the 3rd wick. But I don't think I'll be putting a full review on this one here. It'll kind of maybe be an overlap. I also don't think I'll be doing a full review of Easter Brunch on this channel, just because last year on Instagram I did review both the Lemon Sugar Marshmallow and Easter Brunch. So they're kind of the back of the line, I guess, so to speak. I want to get to the newer ones first that you guys haven't smelled yet. But for Lemon Sugar Marshmallow, just going based on my review from last year, we'll kind of talk about both of these at the same time. For me, very much a sort of lemon meringue pie-esque sort of fragrance, very much in that sort of lemon gourmand type of family. So for me, I feel like when you look at a lemon meringue pie, you've got that layer of a like thick meringue, very sweet vanilla, like kind of sugary sort of meringue. And then you've got the nice thick layer of the tart lemon, that pie filling, like with that lemon curd, that fresh lemon juice, a little bit of zest in there. And then you have on the bottom just a slight layer of that pastry. And that's kind of what I get here, where the lemon and the sugariness are at the forefront, but I do get a little bit of that pastry undertone at the bottom. So I say it's there, but it's not the star. That lemon is really, really pretty strong. And this candle, having sat now for a year, I feel like when I lit this up again the other day, just to kind of refresh my memory, I felt like the lemon actually became a little bit more zesty and prominent than I remember it being before. So, you know, a little bit more potent on that lemon note, which I'm not complaining about because I love a good lemon. But I do still get the pastry underneath there. I do still get that sweetness. For me, it's not really super marshmallowy, but very sweet. And did I read you guys' notes? I don't think I did. We've got lemon, pastry, butter, vanilla, and sugar. So, I mean, I mean, really the only difference I'm smelling here is just the fact that this one's been burned and this one hasn't. Has a little bit more of that cleanness. The one caveat with this one, it was strong, but it did tend to have a little bit of a hotter sooty burn. I'm going to show you guys, you can see on the top here, a little bit of accumulation. Yeah, right there. And it was burning pretty hot. I feel like I kind of made a mistake on my last burn. I sort of, when I took this back out, I remembered, okay, this was kind of a hotter burn. So I said, let me trim the wicks down. And I think I over trimmed them a little bit. and it struggled a little bit, and I had to kind of remove some of the wax just to kind of get it going again. But before, there was a layer of kind of that black kind of ickiness on the top of the candle, which you can't really see now because I had to remove some of the wax. But since then, it's kind of been doing better. So sometimes like a corrective burn can do wonders. So I will see how the rest of this goes. I'm almost at the end. I think you can kind of see the level of wax there. I have a second jar, so just be aware of that. I don't know if there was any sort of changes to the formulation at all this year. This is last year's version. You guys know that sometimes there can be a slight variance in the batches, just in the way things smell, even if the scent is overall the same. So I don't have this year's in front of me, so I'm not sure if that will be the same situation where it's a hot burner. So just keep an eye on it. But I will be burning Sweet as Can Be. I will give you guys an update. But like I said before, lemon sugar marshmallow was pretty strong for me. So, you know, this is very similar. I think this is going to be pretty powerful. I really hope, because I know a lot of you like that strong fragrance. So I will keep you posted on Sweet as Can Be and lemon sugar marshmallow at a later video. And let's see, let's just do the 3 wicks, I guess. No, scratch that. Just to briefly talk about the other one that I have reviewed, Easter Brunch. So this one, the notes here, again, they're appearing the same last year to this year, so I don't anticipate them being wildly different. But we have top notes of sweet and almond, mid notes of butter and vanilla, and base notes of cream and vanilla. So when I reviewed this on cold, I get a little bit more of that almond extract type of note from it. It's not really cherryish, but it does have that sort of almond extract sort of feel. But when it's burning, I feel like more of that breadiness sort of kind of comes through. And ultimately what this kind of ended up smelling like to me is sort of those like Easter sweetbreads. If you've ever seen those sweetbreads where they have little eggs baked into them, or like a sweet almond brioche that has kind of like that almond crust on the top there. Very much a sort of a sweetbread type of fragrance with that almond piece in there. It's not really heavy, heavy in the almond, I feel like, when it's burning, as it is on cold, but it's still, you know, there, it's detectable. But Bath and Body Works has, I think, almond croissant. I heard some of you compare it to that. They had the It's Evil for Halloween the last 2 years. That was also sort of an almond, sort of bready scent. That one had a little bit more of a spice piece, was a little bit heavier. This feels more in keeping with like your brunch theme. And it's kind of nice because it has a little bit of that sweetness with the sugar and the vanilla, but it also has a little bit of a savory lean too with that buttery piece. So if you think about a brunch where you have your savory foods with your eggs and your bacon and all that, and then you also have like your French toast and your pastries, you have that little bit of that sweet and savory contrast. That's what I get here. This was also a very strong performer, one of my strongest of Kringles from last year. But this one, I will say, I always keep it honest with you guys. This is probably my dirtiest burner that I maybe have ever had in the Kringle jar. I'm going to show you. Just very much good deal of soot accumulation. You can kind of see it's not really discoloring the wax at this point. It might change as I get a little bit lower. But yeah, this was a dirtier burn, so I don't know if that's been fixed at all with this one either. So if that bothers you, just keep it in mind. Again, I repurchased Lemon Sugar Marshmallow and Easter Brunch again last year, so it didn't bother me that much. I really just love the fragrances. But if, you know, that's important to you, just, you know, keep that in the back of your mind. And hopefully it won't be quite as noticeable this year. But again, this is last year's version. I can't confirm if there's any tweaks or if they smell the same or if they're performing the same or any of that. But that's Easter Brunch, and you know, if you can always go back and see my old review of that from last spring as well. So, all right, so I guess, yeah, now we'll do the other two 3 wicks. So we've got Berry Citrus Bloom. All right, so the notes here are red berries, orange, rose, jasmine, freesia, geranium, musk, sandalwood, patchouli, and amber. So that's a lot of notes here. And on cold, I would say this was probably my least favorite. And I haven't spent a whole lot of time burning it. I did one little burn. And I would say probably overall it's got to be my least favorite here. And I don't hate it. I don't want to sound like I hate this one. It's just, it's not really my type. It's very much a fruity floral. I will say on cold, fruit kind of came to the forefront for me with the red berries, definitely a red berry, and a little bit of citrus, that little bit of orange, with the floral notes kind of being a little bit towards the background. But when I burned it, I noticed a shift where I was getting a lot more of the floral piece and the fruitiness still there, still, you know, present and sweet, but still, but much more toned down, and that floral kind of becoming a little bit more of the star. So how that will play out through the rest of this candle, I don't know. But if you're a fruity floral fan, I mean, it's pretty. I think for me, the fruity floral thing, what I don't end up liking is like, it almost gives me like that sort of 90s air freshener type of vibe. And I don't want to say that to make it sound like cheap or gross or anything, but I think like maybe it's just what I grew up with. I remember sort of that fruity floralness in some of those like old like Glade air freshener, whatever, sprays or potpourri on the table. But I just, it's not my favorite, but it's not unpleasant either. So I don't know. I will keep you guys posted and see how this changes over the course of it. I have been surprised by a couple of these here that I wouldn't have thought I would like. So maybe this one will grow on me. But yeah, if you're a fruity floral fan, berry citrus bloom, this is probably the most kind of like fruit and floral mix that we have here. All right. And then the other 3-wick. See, now this is where it gets interesting because I would have thought that this would have been my least favorite based on paper. But Bunnies and Flowers is ended up being kind of a standout for me. So for notes, we have green, foliage, vetiver, floral, wood, moss, and wood. And very different than Berry Citrus Blooms. This definitely is more green scent. It's more of a fresh scent. It is very kind of clean. I feel like the thing that kind of popped into my head first on cold was that it kind of smells like those sort of like fancy soaps that you might get if you stayed at like a really nice hotel and they give you like those nice bars of soaps like that, just sort of like clean, kind of upscale type of fragrance. And burning, I will say, if you can kind of see, well, let me pull this one up. So this one I haven't burned at all. This one I've burned, and like the level of the wax, we're down into the K here. I figured I was going to light this up for like a couple hours and just kind of be done with it. And it really, once it got going, it really surprised me. It's really a very sort of soothing scent. And what I get from it so far is this is kind of like, there's kind of like a dampness to this. This is like my perfect sort of rainy, cool spring day type of fragrance. It's fresh. It's green. I don't know if it's the moss, but I feel like I get that sort of like damp, sort of dewy quality to that green note. Just really nice, really refreshing, soothing type of scent. And I found myself not wanting to put it out. So I'm really looking forward to burning it more. And I might even want to pick up another one. So you know what? Never judge a book by its cover. So that is Bunnies and Flowers. All right, and that's it for the 3-wicks. So now getting into our Kringle jars. I guess we'll start with, yeah, Easter Petals. So this, another one on paper that I wasn't super excited about, but we have notes of sparkling lemon, petitgrain twigs, Italian bergamot, neroli blossom, patchouli, musks, and amber. And if Bunnies and Flowers is sort of your kind of like cooler, rainier spring day, this is like your bright, sunshiny spring day. They're kind of like, like the opposites here. This, on cold, I do get that, a little bit of that lemon, very sort of like kind of a bright pop to it. You get the floral notes here. And, you know, just a slight sort of earthy undertone that to my nose, like when you piece it together with the floral pieces, almost smells a little bit like a linen, like a sun-washed sort of flowers and linen. But very warm, very warm spring day, sun shining on those fresh blooms, and very pretty. I lit this for several hours on Saturday, and again, not one that I would have thought I would have liked on paper, but I really enjoyed it. I really found it to be sort of like that peaceful, sort of cheerful, flowery sort of scent that is not giving me, this is my problem with a lot of florals, is that I get sort of that funeral home vibe from them, because, you know, when you go into a funeral and you've got all the flower arrangements everywhere, a lot of times, like with floral scents, when I smell that jar, that's where it puts me. And maybe that's morbid and horrible to say, but it doesn't smell like that at all. It just is very like a fresh, cheerful, floral type of scent. And this is coming from me, who does not really consider myself a floral person by any means. I'm actually really looking forward to this one. So that's Easter Petals. I'll get a a better review of that up. There's a couple things that it's maybe reminding me of. So we'll talk a lot more about that at the during my official review of Easter Petals. But it's very surprising fragrance for me. All right. Now we've got, let's see, Carrot Cake, which, for those who remember, we had Carrot Cake last year in the country format. It was just like kind of the clear country jars with the painted on design. I think it had little carrots on it. Sold out pretty quickly. This one I don't think was restocked in the country. Lemon Sugar Marshmallow, Easter Brunch, I think got a restock. Those had sold out pretty quickly as well. But I don't believe we got more of Carrot Cake. So a lot of people missed out. But the ones who got it said they loved it. So I'm glad they brought it back. Based on the notes, it appears to be the same as last year. I didn't get it last year, so I can't confirm 100% that it smells the same to me. But, just going by the scent notes, we have Carrot Cake, Spice, Vanilla Frosting, which is pretty much what they said last year. So, on cold, I will say, I do get that sort of spice cake element. It's sort of that, like, bakery spice where it's kind of blended into that bakery piece. It's not like super harsh or potent spices, but it's in there and it's sort of melded into that bakery note mixed with that sort of creamy frosting. And I will say that, and just in like the transition from cold to warm, I do feel like it stayed fairly consistent. One thing I did get, I will note, is on cold, I was getting a little bit more of like almost a vegetal quality from that carrot. Not quite a savory quality, but just like that sort of fresh veggie carrot quality. Burning, that kind of mellows out and you're left with mostly like a creamy spice cake sort of scent. And the sweetness is a little bit more than I was expecting. I think I was expecting it to be a little bit more spicy just based on what I was hearing, but I'm finding it to be a little bit more sweet. So we will talk about this a little bit more. I'm going to let you guys know I am having a little bit of a struggle with the burn so far. I'm going to show you where I'm at. The first burn, I left the wicks long. I was thinking, I just wanted to kind of get it pulled out quickly. I didn't have a whole lot of time. I left the wicks. They didn't seem super long for a new candle. Sometimes they're really long in there, but these were kind of average. So I said, they seem pretty good. I'm just going to light it and let it go. And it took a little while to pool. And it did get there. It did fully pool. They didn't dud out or anything like that, but it took longer than usual. And I'm a little concerned going forward how this is going to play out with the burn. Because if you can kind of see, I did a burn since then. It was kind of similar where it took a little bit. And this is after several hours. Usually, if I burn a candle for a longer period of time, it will get a little bit more length on that wick, a little bit mushrooming. Usually I'll feel the need to kind of trim them partway through. I've talked about that here on my channel a lot. But this, it didn't need that at all. Again, not dudding out, definitely pooling, but I have some concerns. So I will keep you guys posted on that. I always keep it honest with you guys because I know there's a lot of people looking forward to this. So yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. And hopefully, you know, sometimes they really just need a few good burns to kind of get going, and then they're fine. So we'll see what happens. I feel like it might be impacting the strength a little bit. You know, sometimes if it's not burning hot enough, you don't get quite as much oomph out of it. So we'll see what happens with carrot cake, but you know, a nice fragrance nonetheless. And let's see, I think we're down to chocolate eggs. So chocolate eggs. All right, so I need to do my homework a little bit on this one, guys. I was just kind of quickly looking back to last year's fragrances. We had chocolate eggs and also in the country line, just like carrot cake. But last year I noticed that the notes were listed a little bit differently. So last year's notes, I will give you, said chocolate brownies, frosted batter, vanilla, and chocolate chips. This year we have milk chocolate, sweet, sugar crystals, vanilla, buttercream, and cocoa. So I did not purchase chocolate eggs last year. I almost did. I know a lot of you were saying it was very much like sort of a brownie type of scent. At least that's what I had heard. I didn't pick it up, and I kind of wished I did. This year, I don't know. I'm feeling like it might have been tweaked because based on what I'm smelling in the jar and burning, I feel like it's more in line with the notes on here as it states than what I'm reading from last year. Last year definitely gives you more of that brownie vibe. We have chocolate brownies and the frosted batter in there. This is more of a lighter, sugary, sweet chocolate. I will say on cold sniff initially, when I opened it, I was getting a little bit of that brownie batter vibe. More like when you just start mixing up your batter and you still have a lot of that sort of dried cocoa that you're incorporating into the mix. That was very much what I was smelling. But burning, I did one burn on this. It was pretty powerful in that one burn. Everyone in the house knew I was burning something chocolate, but it was more in keeping with a chocolate egg where I'm getting a little bit of that vanilla piece and a little bit of that sort of like lighter sugary chocolate. Like if you open a fresh bag of the chocolate eggs and you've got the wrapping still on there and you just kind of, that smell that comes out of the bag where you've got that sweet sort of chocolate, it was a little bit more in line with that while it was burning. So maybe by the time I post this, I'll be able to put in the description if I confirm if this formula has been changed from last year. I guess I'm feeling like it might, even though I haven't smelled last year's version. So I don't know. So depending on how you feel, if you're looking something more in keeping with an actual chocolate egg, you might be happy with that. So that's all I'm going to say for now. I do need to get a lot more burn time on these before I can really give you full judgment, before I can really talk about performance and strength and throw and all that, because I know that's always like the biggest question I get is it strong? How's the throw? So, like I say, I will try to get back to you all with full reviews on these, except for the ones we kind of talked about here with Easter Brunch and the lemon sugar marshmallow. But yeah, I think that's all we have for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, these are launching on March 20th, which is a Thursday at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. And I do expect them to be full price for the launch, which would be $34 for the Kringle jars. And I think the 3 wicks are usually like a standard $26. But usually they don't do any sort of promotion, unfortunately, for launches. You can always use my code if you choose to. That's Simply Scented. It'll at least save you 15% off of your order at the very least, unless you have something better. If you have a reward for maybe a 20 off of 60 or a 15 off 45, take a look in your rewards account before launch day and see if you have anything you can redeem to get yourself an even better deal. But yeah, thank you guys for any code usage. I do get a small commission off of that. So I always appreciate you guys. And I think probably by the time you guys see this, because I'm pre-recording it, I should have some reviews ready to go pretty quickly by the time you guys get to see this. I'm not sure what I'll start with. Maybe some of the 3 wicks, because I think those will go fastest. And yeah, we'll go from there. Any case, I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you again for watching this, and I'll talk to you guys really soon.